Here are 5 vintage transistor radios I picked up at the swap meet on Saturday. If you guys are into vintage transistor radios, you should check out my friend YouTube user ID Radio TV Phono Nut. He covers a lot of vintage solid state and All-American 5 as well as vintage phonograph and record players, so check him out if you're into these. The first one is a Silvertone 600 AM only. Here's an old 12 transistor Sony, AM FM, Panasonic, AM FM, and a General Electric AM only. This is a Motorola, kind of a fancy leather case. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull each one apart, take a look at the inside, and I'm going to spray the controls while I'm in there, because that seemed to be the majority of the problem. So let's start with the Sony. One thing that's kind of cool about this is how it has 2 antennas that come up, kind of like a TV. Just take a look at the inside. This radio appears to work, except the dial cord is broken, so I can't tune anything with it. All original. Take a look at I do kind of like the vintage Japanese early transistor stuff. It's pretty cool. See the packages these transistors are in? They're kind of weird. Also, this was a model TFM 121-A. I wanted to note how the IF cans were waxed to prevent anyone from screwing with them. There's an AM oscillator coil, it's even waxed. Okay, here's the next one. This is a Silvertone 600 transistor. Getting pretty brittle. And we can see the model is a 2215 brown. And this one's kind of cool because the transistors have these old plastic caps on top of them. And this actually had batteries in it, and I turned it on and it worked.
흑인 사회도 이런 문화 한마당이 필요하다는데 공감하고 적극적으로. What you should do so that when this takes place or you're buying a home. Sure do. I like it. You got me like this. Lumber. It's amazing because it does not burn. On your first game, next one, a parliamentarian. Do a tax one. To your sensitive liberal Democrat, take us to Mr. Diversity. Eric was here for a while with.
Well, I get the LAX radio station. I actually took this with me camping. I was out yesterday in the desert, and I like to play with these at night and see how the DX sensitivity is, you know, the overall sensitivity, because I can't really tell here in LA. It's just nothing but super strong stations, and this thing seemed like it was kind of weak on the sensitivity, but I didn't really spend enough time with it, and it could probably use an alignment after that many years. So there's the Silvertone 600. Next is the General Electric All Transistor. It's a lot like the Silvertone. Let's see here, I kinda... And this, the ferrite antenna appears to be cracked, but this also worked. It takes 4 batteries, and I just put 6 volts to it. And this is kind of cool because this has an old top hat transistor in it. Get the magnifying glass. Let's see if I can show this guy down here. See that old top hat? Also, it's got some blue transistors in it. There's one right there. All original capacitors in all of these, and they all work, or seem to work really well. So I have to get some batteries in this one, or maybe do my lithium ion setup. Okay, let's check out the Motorola. Taking a look at the inside of the Motorola, kind of digging on those wire nuts right there. It looks like someone replaced the power cord. This is kind of a bizarre mashup of parts. I don't know what this is about. Looks like it's got the nice big American style tuning gang thing there. And this is kind of interesting how, come on, it's got this little board up on top, a little separate board that could be like the maybe the oscillators or the RF amps. It's got some little tuning capacitors there. Let me get the magnifying glass on this. These transistors are Japanese numbered. They're 2SA transistors. They start with 2SA, but they got the Motorola logo on them. And it's got the Japanese style IF. And it's got carbon resistors. The capacitor is also Japanese. But this little board up on top here, this is kind of really cool. I bet this thing has great sensitivity. One thing I do need to do is to spray the AM/FM switch on this, so let me do that and we'll plug it in. It says made in USA on it, and it's a model TP12CE. It's got some instructions here on batteries, battery packs in the back. Genuine top grain cowhide. I lubed it up. Let's plug it in and see how it works.
Pick your Hyundai dealer. Sam's Club. Pues que...
That guy.
What's interesting is for some reason everything is shifted way down on the dial. And this is really bizarre because you have all that. That, I believe that station is 107.1. And it should be clear up here, so I don't know what's going on with that. And it's not like because the tuning gang is turning for that whole length. So maybe someone screwed with this to try and get it to go into the aircraft band or something.
It's related to deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan.
La Biblia dice que se fortalezca en Dios.
Number 3.
Mariachi Mondays. You can enjoy our Mexican theme.
Bike weight.
Control your
Great use of the body.
This also seems a little bit light on the sensitivity. What I need to do is to take all of these out to my cabin in the desert where I can kind of put them side by side. And this little board up on top here really fascinates me, though. Someone turned something, though, I bet, to shift the FM clear down like that. Half the band is off the range of the thing. Next up is the little crappy Panasonic. And I love this 2-year warranty sticker on here. They could have put a 20-year warranty on these radios and they wouldn't have lost any money on it. These things just last forever. Well, maybe. Let me take this apart and clean the controls. Here's the inside of the Panasonic. And this thing is kind of way too modern. Yeah, at least it doesn't use integrated circuits, but it's still... Try and get this out of the sun here. Way too modern to you know what, it was $1 and I wasn't just gonna leave it there to go in the trash. And I bet performance wise it's excellent, so I've lubed everything up.
Boulevard. R106.
See, here's that Spanish station that's at the upper end of the dial that was on the Motorola, was clear down in the middle. See, and then there's nothing above that.
Better drive. Looking good in the
Look at the sensitivity of this thing. I don't even have the FM antenna extended. Let's try AM.
Now there's a looming.
It's easy. Baby.
We will be offering...
So where's the LAX station? Check that out. The camera actually interferes with it.
Airport. Not even if they are checked in your luggage. Certainly those include...
So, awesome performer. Kind of modern. Panasonic. Anyway, there you go. There's 4 new radios to add to the collection. Not that it matters, but the Panasonic was an RF 563. And I think maybe what I'll do, if I can get all of these together and working halfway decent, is the next time I go out camping where there's no stations, not all the noise from the big city, I'll put these all on a table and make a video of how they all perform kind of side by side with super weak stations that probably only come in at night.